But, I mean, how do these ever come about, and how likely is it that these holograms will be evident in our lives in the future? Let's have a chat to Mal Fletcher, who's a futurist. Hello, Mal.
Hello, Caroline.
Looking at it, that seems so realistic and a little bit freaky, I'm not going to lie.
Look, for the better part of a decade now, holograms have been used in concerts, haven't they, featuring artists alive and dead.
Yes.
That actually started in 2012 in the Coachella Music Festival in the States. There was a live appearance, quote unquote, by a guy called Tupac Shakur, who was a rap singer murdered in 1996. So he was resurrected, if you like, by a movie company at a cost of about $500,000 American. And since then, we've had Michael Jackson, Roy Orbison, Billie Holiday, Patsy Cline. They've all been raised up using this projection. And in most cases, they've been created using video footage of a past performance along with a recorded song. But holograms like the one with Robert Kardashian are created from the ground up using voice actors and digitally created images. And they will become a lot more common in the next few years.
Right, so you give a script to an actor that you want them to say. So Kanye would have known what he wanted Kim's dad to apparently be saying and given the script to the actor who then voiced it in his voice.
Yeah, and there's an image digitally created, a video image digitally created from basically nothing to emulate the appearance of Robert Kardashian. But holograms are not just about entertainment, Caroline. I mean, politicians are using them. One of the candidates in the 2017 French presidential election, for example, appeared in 7 town hall meetings at once through holographics. In medicine, we've got holograms being used to design prosthetic devices so that they're much more accurately fitted to the wearer. We've got remote surgeries where you've got a surgeon consultant in one location and a local surgeon working in another watching a projection. And they're being used for design of furniture, cars, even buildings now, using either full-scale or scaled-down versions of the final product. So there's lots of ways holographics will be useful to us.
But we look at them now and think, ooh. But I remember watching Star Trek, years and years ago, and I think that they had a holographic image of Tasha Yar, and it couldn't have been the case because she was dead. And then suddenly she was kind of like there on our screen, and she was like a hologram. So this has been around for a while, albeit in smaller form.
Yeah, the idea has. I mean, it all started with Princess Leia, I think, in Star Wars. But what's interesting to me is a lot of people who were kids then are now the leading technologists of today who, in many ways, are creating these images that were sewn into them when they were young. And I think in the next few years, look, we're likely to see personalized holographic units using something like a phone or some other wearable that can project a holographic image, at least those that are pre-recorded, into our real space. That could be a great consolation for people who, for example, work for long periods in remote places without any contact with their family. So there's lots of ways in which this could be a benefit.
And are they as realistic as they look? Because, seeing that one play out, I mean, I don't know if I'd like it. It's a lovely thought, don't get me wrong, and it's certainly original, but would you like one popping up in your room?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you'd have to have a lot of control over how and when it appeared. Otherwise, it would freak you out. But look, I think that it's a bit like movies. We always rely on our ability to suspend disbelief, don't we? When we watch a film, we know the story isn't actually taking place in front of us, but we suspend disbelief to be part of an experience. And with holograms, especially the recorded variety, we'll need to suspend disbelief in the same way, but also to maintain a much higher level of watchfulness, because liberties can be taken with videos now, with what we call deep fake videos, which feature real people saying things they didn't say using digital video tricks and human voice actors. So deep fake holograms could be constructed in the same way. So we'll have to be very watchful as well.
Yeah, I was going to say this could lead to fake news, couldn't it?
Yeah, it takes fake news to a whole new dimension, with or without President Trump.
Well, listen, I bet this thing is expensive. At the end of the day, if I wanted to knock one up as a little present for Brett and give him his most beautiful woman to pop up in his house, it's going to cost me a fair bit of money, I'm sure, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the fact that you've got Kanye West paying for it sort of suggests that, and he made a very short one, it sort of suggests it's worth a lot of money. I mean, Roy Orbison actually performed 16 songs on a tour in the United States, in each venue, with a live orchestra. And that must have cost a fortune. If one cost $500,000 in 2012, the price is coming down, but it's still fairly pricey today.
And if we look to the future, okay, because you're a futurist, what other lovely things have we got in store for us?
Well, one of the most exciting, it's kind of related to holographics, actually, Caroline. It's called haptic virtual reality. Now, you might remember when we first put on VR units, we'd put on a goggle and we would have our sense of sight, sound, and touch fooled by this machine. But now they're adding to that technology the ability to fool the senses of smell and taste as well. So that hugely increases the potential for an almost real experience in a virtual space. And that will give rise to what I'd like to call sociable media, where people really do feel they're in a room with you, using a device, having a cup of coffee together. And there's augmented reality too, which some people think has gone the way of the dinosaur already, but I don't think it's really hit its straps yet. This is where you see an image on your glasses or whatever device you're wearing, and over it is printed real-time text. So it might be information about where you're standing or local sales nearby. Whatever you've allowed it to show you will pop up on the screen. Again, we have to use it in measured ways because it's not the technology, it's how we choose to use it that really counts.
Oh, that sounds distracting. So you're walking along and something pops up on your glasses to tell you of all these offers that are on or whatever else is going on. I'd never get anywhere quick. I'd just be flitting off all over the place.
Yeah, there was an interesting case in, I think it was Philadelphia about 5 years ago, where a young woman was charged with reckless endangerment by walking on a pavement when she wasn't looking where she was going. She was texting. So, yeah, technology has a way of distracting us, and we have to be very, very disciplined the more complex the tech becomes.
I hope that VR thing, they've worked on that feeling sick feeling, because my son got one of those headsets when they came out, was it a few years ago, and he was playing on his PlayStation. He had to sell it on because after an hour or so, he was just it made him feel odd. He just came unbalanced.
Yeah, they do. Well, they do keep improving the tech too, and the more they become aware of situations like your son's, the more they can tweak it. But I think we need to understand that it's not just about fun and games. I think there's great ways in which these techs, including holographics, can help us innovate and solve previously unsolvable problems.
Well, it all sounds fascinating. And Mal, I thank you very much for coming on. That's Mal Fletcher, who's a futurist. So all these exciting things to come then.